Hey everybody, it's Paige with The Paige Show. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Real Talk, Real Life with a flair of spirit and a side of humor. You can find me on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all those great social media connections, and thepaigeshow.com, where you'll find information about what we're doing and what's coming next. Hey everybody, it's Paige with The Paige Show. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Real Talk with a flair of spirit and a side of humor. Today's topic is illusion of control. You're going to hear me talk about this a lot in our podcast. It is a mantra for me in my life now, and it came to me at the end of last year, 2020, after, like I'm sure all of us felt, we made it almost to the end, and you start to feel like you can come up for a breath of air, and maybe you started to be a little more creative and a little bit more relaxed. In some areas of the country, things were starting to go back to normal for us. Kids were going to school. It was, okay to go out to eat. Restaurants were opening. All of the craziness that this is like a great diary to record for 2020 and the virus from hell. Because there's not a better word for it, that really caused us to learn shape shifting last year. That is like having to really blend with your environment because you didn't really have a choice. For the first time in, I cannot think of another time in my lifetime, all of the things going on around you, no matter where you lived, it affected you somehow. Whether you watch the news every day or it just was like, hey, I went to a store and now it's closed and I probably should find out why. Those people, every end of the spectrum, we knew what last year was about. And so mine was no different. I had lots of major changes and shifts and things that I had to cope with, for lack of a better word. And with all of the skills that I know, I still had the same calls that I'm sure you guys did to the friend where you were losing your shit because it was just a day that you were overwhelmed and you couldn't really see past that moment, and there had been too many of those days in a row, and so all of a sudden you're like, all right, that's it, I'm ready to like break shit. So that was when, after a year of that, almost a year of that, towards the end of last year, when I got this, aha moment and what I call the divine downloads that you guys will hear me talk about. And all I heard was illusion of control. And that really, we live this life with an illusion of control. And we are allowed to do that for a season. We have been allowed to do that for a very long time. And minus your own personal stories of examples where it didn't work for you, as a big overall picture of society, we have been able to have the illusion that we are in control of things. And then something like last year happens and you see it take the toll worldwide on people, where it's smacking you in the face, the realities that we really can't control any of this. We can't really control what our state's going to do about it, our local government or the big government, and I'm definitely not going down that path. But that was a really big awakening that, things could get shut down for us. Businesses could go out of business, these malls and restaurants that we never thought would be touched. And if you paid attention around you, hopefully you gained a little insight of that, like I did, that wow, a lot of things happened that I just never really thought they could do. They as the they of everything. And so I want to read something to you. And then we'll talk a little bit more about this. But I want to read to you what I wrote in that moment. And when I heard illusion of control, what I've learned this year is that everything we do, achieve, have, or wish to have is an illusion of control. Do you guys hear that? It all could stay, it all could go away, and it's ultimately an illusion that we have control over any of it. That was powerful for me. So what do? Well, you keep doing, going, building, experiencing, but without an illusion that you get to decide what happens to any of it. And so what I will do, I will enjoy more times like watching my toddler drown the bathroom floor with his water toys. I'll eat more chocolate and pray more for the ones that I love, and the rest will handle itself. That's my new motto. Let's roll. And so I wrote that. And just like I will talk to you in many podcasts to come about the importance of note-taking or journaling, this is why. Because I could sit here today and know that I needed to talk about the illusion of control, and I can get to the major points of it. But the real energy of the message, if you don't get to record it or journal it or whatever in the moment when you get that divine download, the energy can be lost. And then we get busy in our daily life, and somewhere down the road something will remind us of it, but it may not be the same memory. Just like capturing a picture or a video, you'll remember certain things when your kids are older about your kids. You can already do it in their different stages of life. Certain things will be memorable in relationships and friendships. However, the energy of that feeling, really capturing that, is what is really lost. And so journaling for me, and maybe for some of you out there starting to try that practice, will find that it captures some of the energy. You'll see the date that you did it, and that's a date to remember. You can remember, you can take yourself back. I'm a very visual learner. I could close my eyes and tell you exactly where I was when I got the download, when I wrote the notes in my phone. And it really can take you back to the memory and the energy of. And so that's a whole nother podcast of how we can use that as a tool in our life. But that is why I chose to read it to you. I could have, I couldn't have, because I don't have time for that. But I could have hypothetically tried to memorize what I wrote and then just say it to you guys like I'm that good. But this is the show about being real. And so I pick up my phone and I have to read it to you because I don't have time for all that. But then it led us down the talk about why I wrote it down. And that's a perfect example. So the illusion of control. I hope that you just, rewind and keep watching that piece that I read to you, because that was really the beauty of it, without all the yapping around it. But that message is what has stuck with me. And I will, right in this moment, right before getting behind this camera to you today, tell you that I have said it at least 20 times today in my head, between having to school from home, or the toddler had a poopy diaper and it went all over the couch, and then laundry stayed in the washer too long, and now I'm redoing that. And oh, by the way, it's past lunch, and oh, it's gonna be dinner soon. Welcome to the world up. And guess what? 2:30, look at the clock to see what else needed to be done, and realize that I had not finished my coffee from this morning still, and I myself had still not even had lunch. Everyone in my house was taken care of. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Do you see me? And then here I am, still I haven't even fed myself. And so reality is that life is like that without all the other challenges that can be thrown out at us, the unseen, and just stuff that maybe we pile on too much on our own. However, it's just life, right? We choose it, we do it. It's what we do. But the illusion of control came through my mind multiple times today, and that's how it has, really spoke to me since I got that download, is when I got in the middle of ready to just throw something today, and just really my brain was overwhelmed with what I had to do next. I could just tell myself it's an illusion of control. It's gonna be fine. That's still gonna be there. And especially I'm in the middle of all this trying to run to the store. This was the one that really got me today. Maybe some of y'all will feel me on this one, but you're trying to get to the store in between these little quick blips of time that you have, and the slowest guy on the road is in front of you, just clogging up the passing lane. Okay, it is the passing lane, people. It's not your like, I can go in this lane as long as I'm going faster. Like, yeah, you should be going faster in that lane, but look it up. It is the passing lane. And so this guy was not passing, and I could not pass him because everyone else in the correct lane was doing their thing in the speed limit. So behind him, and it just like, I had to take a few breaths and just say, I cannot road rage on this old guy. Like, I don't know what is happening with him, but I'm sure that would not make his day any better or mine. And I just have an illusion of control that I can do anything with what he's doing right now. He is going to move over whenever he does, or I am going to get around him whenever I can. And it really helped me. And that's not just today. That has been, when I say I get a divine download, it is like something that becomes part of my toolbox, my skill set. It is something that I cannot forget. And if I fail at it, which we all will do, and I do, it comes screaming back at me. That's why we taught you that. Illusion of control. Don't like run this old guy off the road. And so in that moment, in those kind of moments, that's when it helps me. So you will hear throughout a lot of my podcasts the illusion of control, because it's like my thing now. I don't know what I'll be doing with it down the road, but I have some very cool ideas of what I might be doing with it. But it is officially a Paige motto, mantra, whatever you want to call it. And hopefully something about that will speak to you, and it can help you in the middle of your craziness. And just remember, whenever things feel overwhelming or out of control, no matter what it may be, you most likely can apply the illusion of control to that. And maybe you'll hear my voice in your head saying, it's an illusion of control, it's an illusion of control, until you want to scream. But my goal with that would be that it also becomes real to you, that it becomes a skill set and a memory to you, that when you're about to break down, you can let that pop into whatever situation you're facing, and it can give you some peace. That's my hope for you. That is my explanation of illusion of control. I read it for you, that summarized it for you. And when you hear it in my other podcast, you're going to know now what I'm talking about. And I hope that it brings you the same peace that it has me. Until we do this again, take care of yourself, and I will see you next time. So that's it for today. But until we meet again, remember, I see you, I hear you, I feel you, and let's keep loving, laughing, and lighting up this world one badass person at a time.